Next, we induct Greg Whalen.
You can't talk about the life and career of Greg Whalen without talking about his wife, Mary. They both lived through the golden era of the American quarter horse, when it came of age as a breed and an industry, and they lived it together. They fitted world champion halter horses across 4 decades and earned a reputation for making horses. Greg was raised in San Jose, California. Mary showed horses, and that's how they met. They dated off and on for a few years when Greg's rodeo schedule allowed. Then in 1952, Greg was drafted and spent 11 months in Korea on the front lines in the 35th Regimental Combat Team. When he came home, he wanted to settle down. He finally talked Mary into it, and they wed in 1955. Greg rode broncs and bulls throughout the 50s. In the early 60s, he judged the first televised Rodeo Cowboys Association event. He left the circuit in 1962, and that's when showing took over. Inevitably, people started sending their horses to Greg and Mary. They fit and showed horses for 6 AQHA past presidents and a number of other major players, including Zanpar Bar for Bill Gibford. The pair was originally based in Aptos, California on the coast, but they eventually moved to the San Joaquin Valley, and that's where they established Blue Ribbon Farm in Clements. The Whalens were known for finding diamonds in the rough. On one buying trip, they picked up as babies Opie's Pride and Snipper's Sarah, who would become a multiple world champion. Greg was also partners with AQHA Hall of Famer D. Wayne Lucas on TNT. By the late 70s, Greg and Mary were looking for a stallion to start a breeding program. At a show in Pomona, they saw a copper sorrel stallion named Smoothtown. A few months later, they saw him again and asked if he was for sale. He was, but another potential buyer had first dibs. That buyer showed up late to look at Smoothtown and arrived just in time to see Greg hand over a check. Smoothie was racing bred. At his first show, he went grand, still wearing his racing plates. He'd go on to win the 1979 world title in 3-year-old stallions. About that time, the Whalens acquired a colt by Pretty Impressive out of Page Boy's Pearl named Page Impressive. They crossed him with Smoothtown's daughters, and the results were amazing. One of those foals was Mr. Yellowfella. The Whalens' bloodlines became a foundation source for leading breeders across the country. As 30-year breeders, the Whalens' 346 foals have earned 8,161 halter points and 725 performance points, all divisions. As coaches, they raised horsemen who would shape the business. Greg and Smoothtown are both in the Pacific Coast Quarter Horse Association Hall of Fame. Greg and Mary are retired now. They operated with the integrity of the breed in mind, always insisting their horses be able to halter and ride. They expressed the deepest respect for the American quarter horse. Greg never set out to become a legend, only to shape and show horses as best he could.
Congratulations, everyone. Please welcome Mr. Greg Whalen. Congratulations, sir. Let's get some pictures out of the way real quick right here with President Gene Grave.
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank the AQHA and the Hall of Fame Committee for just truly an honor. Second, I'd like to thank my family, my friends, their support for being here tonight. It's been a wonderful life for Mary and I, doing something we love, breeding, raising, and showing American quarter horses. In closing, I'd like to thank all the great clients and all the great horses that helped make this possible. Thank you.
Congratulations, sir. Congratulations, Greg. Right here. One more time. 2012 Hall of Fame inductee, Mr. Greg Whalen. Congratulations.